Hi class, welcome to our next chapter. We're starting our first lesson in chapter 8, which is 8.1. We're talking about the midpoint and the distance formulas. So this is a little bit of a geometry review. Hopefully you remember this from geometry. To find the midpoint between 2 points, what you're going to do is you're going to add up the x's and divide by 2. That's going to give you your x coordinate. And to give you your y coordinate, you're going to add up your y values, add those up, and divide by 2. So that's how you find the midpoint of any segment, is you'd add up the x's divided by 2, add up the y's divided by 2. The distance formula is to find, obviously, the distance between 2 points, or the distance of that segment. In that one, you take the square root of x2 minus x1, you take that difference and square it, and you take the differences of your y's, square it, add them up, and take the square root of that number. So we're going to put those into practice today. Here's a problem that you might see in Excel math. A landscape design includes 2 square flower beds and a sprinkler halfway between them. Find the coordinates of the sprinkler if centers of the flower beds are at 4, 5, and at 14, 16. So what we're going to want to find, class, is it says that the sprinkler is halfway. So halfway means that it is the midpoint. So what we want to find is we want to find the midpoint. So obviously our midpoint formula is what we're going to use. So you're going to call your x coordinate x1, y1, and you're going to call your other point x2, y2. So that sprinkler is going to be at 4 plus 14 divided by 2 and at 5 plus 16 divided by 2. Add up the x's divided by 2, add up the y's divided by 2. 4 plus 14 makes 18, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So at 9 and 5 plus 16 is 21. 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. Or 21 halves, either one. You'll just have to pay attention to how Excel math wants you to answer their questions. So 9, 10.5 is the correct answer for our first one. Our second one, what is the distance between these 2 points? Well, we're going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we simply put in the distance formula and we simplify and solve. So the distance is the square root of 4 minus a negative 3. That quantity squared plus a negative 4 minus 6, that quantity squared. Simplifying further, 4 minus a minus 3 is 4 plus 3, that makes 7, and 7 squared is 49. A negative 4 minus 6 is a negative 10, and a negative 10 squared is a positive 100. So now I have the distance as being the square root of 49 plus 100. In which case the distance is the square root of 149. Excel math might have you answer this in a decimal. It might have you answer in a radical. I like you to have it in radical form. So remember, if you can break this up, make sure you do that. However, 149 cannot be broken up, so our answer is just the square root of 149. Number 3 and number 4, they aren't so much math problems, I guess, as much as they are common sense problems. One of my favorite quotes, I forget who says it right now, but the quote is, if you have common sense, you have all the sense you need. So not necessarily being so book smart, but trying to use numbers and relationships with numbers in a practical way. So hopefully on these ones we can kind of solve just by using our brains a little bit and thinking, not so much math, but more thinking. On a straight road, George is 3 kilometers east of a water tower, and Don is 6 kilometers west of that same water tower. Relative to the water tower, where is the midpoint of the positions of George and Don? I'm not very good unless I see pictures, so sometimes I just need to draw some things. So George is 3 kilometers east of a water tower. If we need our compass rose to remind you, north, south, east, west. On a straight road, we have George being 3 miles east of a water tower. So here's going to be my water tower. H for Hutch. George is 3 kilometers east of that water tower. So here is George. So he is 3 miles east. So from here to there, that is 3 miles. And Don is 6 kilometers west of that same water tower. So right here is Don. So from here to here, that distance is 6 kilometers. So where is the midpoint? So where is halfway? If you kind of were to just approximate here, you know, halfway would be right about there. The way we would do that, when we find our midpoint, we add up our two values and divide by 2. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is at 4.5. So hopefully we can all agree that our midpoint is at 4.5. Our segment is 9 kilometers long, so 4.5 is right in the middle. However, Excel Math doesn't want us to answer our questions like that. It says relative to the water tower, where is the midpoint? So our water tower is right here. Where is the midpoint relative to it? What is this distance? If from here to here is 3, and from here to here is 4.5, then this distance right here must be 1.5, because 3 plus 1.5 is 4.5. So relative to the water tower, our midpoint is 1.5 kilometers. In which direction? It's west of the water tower. 1.5 kilometers west of the water tower. That's how Excel Math is going to answer these type of questions. So we know what the midpoint is at 4.5. It's right in the middle, but relative to the water tower, your water tower is 3 kilometers away from an endpoint, so go another 1.5 kilometers west, and there is going to be our midpoint. Last one for this video lesson. If Ruby is 15 miles east of Lila, Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy, and Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary, how many miles is Lila from Lucy? Once again, class, I don't know how to solve this one unless I draw a picture. So I wouldn't even recommend you guys trying this until you have a picture drawn. That helps me immensely. I would imagine it would help you immensely as well. Let's start off with this first sentence. Ruby is 15 miles east of Lila. So east is in the right direction. So Ruby, we'll have her right here. Ruby is east of Lila. And this is going to be 15 miles long. Now on Excel Math, the strategy behind this one is you're going to do this middle sentence last. The reason for that is because you have no reference point about where Mary is and where Lucy is. All you know is where Lila is and where Ruby is. So because you don't know anything about Mary yet or anything about Lucy, let's save that until the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to move on to this statement. Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary. Ruby, right here, is 12 miles east, that means to the right, of where Mary is. Well, we already have this distance as being 15. So if Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary, then maybe right about here is where Mary is. From here to here, this distance is 12 units. So now I'll maybe erase this 15 so we can be a little bit more clear. From here to here is 15. Ruby is 15 miles east of Lila. That goes right here. And Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary. That's this one. So now I know that from Lila to Mary, this must be 3, because 3 plus 12 makes 15. Now I have this one done, and once again, the reason why I did that second class is because we have a reference point. We know where Ruby is. Now, thirdly, we can move on to this one, because now I have a reference point about where Mary is. Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy. So here's Mary. She's 16 miles west, which means left of Lucy. So here's 12 miles, and we need to go 16. So another 4 miles. Right here is where Lucy is. So kind of check your work again. Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy. Here's Lucy, 16 miles west. there's where Mary is. So from here to here is 12. From here to here is 4. Because 12 and 4 make 16. Whew! So, the question that remains, how many miles is Lila from Lucy? Lila being right here, Lucy being right here. So how far is it? 3 plus 12 plus 4. 3 and 12 make 15, and 15 and 4 make 19. I suppose I should have shown my work. 3 plus 12 plus 4. We have 19 miles to get from Lila to Lucy. And those are the type of problems that you're going to see on our Excel math objectives for today. Not so much math problems as much as they are common sense type problems. Let me know if you have any questions on that or if you need any help drawing some of those pictures when you get your Excel math tomorrow.